like after that intro, I should be a little more quiet. You ready? What is up, you beautiful humans? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about traveling with camera gear, specifically traveling with this Atlas Athlete Pack, and I have everything in it, my clothes and my camera gear, and I want to walk you through it because I've got a trip coming up and I need to get out of here. So let's actually get into the bag and I'll talk about all the aspects of it and how I'm using it and what's really in it. This is great from a minimalist standpoint, so you could have everything in this bag for several days, or you can use this as your personal carry-on if you're traveling on a plane. I have used this internationally and taken it with me on the plane as my personal carry-on, but it was actually packed down, so it was much smaller, and then taking my away bag, my away carry-on that is. So I was able to take both of these bags on an international trip, and I'll get into that throughout the conversation here. Speaking of getting into something, let's actually get into the bag. And we are going to get into the top part. Now, one of the things that I just need to highlight here, one of the best aspects of this bag is that pretty much every aspect of it is that it is adjustable. Now, getting into this roll-up section here, we're just gonna undo that. And I recommend packing cubes. Now, I have these packing cubes from REI. I love REI because they guarantee things, and I've had things fail on me before, and they replace stuff, and it's just a great little co-op. But I'll link up a couple of packing cubes below, including these, as well as some other ones that I recommend if you're interested, because packing cubes, now, I have several pairs of pants, so 3 pairs of pants in here, and a few t-shirts in here for several days of travel. And what's really nice is that if I just get to the hotel or wherever I'm staying and I just want to pull everything out and throw it on the bed or throw it in the drawers, I can do that. Or if I happen to be, somewhere out and about and I just want to get inside the bag or just lighten the load or whatever and set these aside, I can set these down knowing that my clothing is protected. And these do compress down, which is really nice. So you can stuff a lot of things in there, and then there's actually another zipper that you can press things down. And so speaking of another set of clothing here, I've got my socks, and of course, boxer briefs if you were interested, and several more layers here. So more t-shirts and some base layers here. It's all about the layers, especially when you're traveling. And I know that, so you want to be prepared, and I'm all about layering up. So I've got several base layers in here to go along with that. And of course, one last item here is the Dob kit. Now, one of the things that I do is I get stuff from Birchbox, and they send out samples of like soaps and lotions and toothpastes, and I just love the fact that I can pull some of those things out, throw it in the bag, and then hit the road. And then of course I have my 13-inch MacBook Pro in there. There's a sleeve in there, and it protects the computer. And what I like about it is that it's on this section here instead of actually against the camera gear and against my back where I'm pushing against that, because these things are pretty thin. I mean, they're pretty durable when you've got a case on it, but you don't want to crack the screen or put so much pressure on the computer. Now, a couple of things here before we get into the camera gear itself. We've got this top zipper, and the beauty about it is that these zippers are like weather sealed. And what do I got in there? Oh, I got some sunscreen in there. Always taking the sunscreen because the sun just, it likes me. It thinks that I'm lunch. But yes, I like the fact that I've had this near a lot of water. So I've had it on a boat, I've had it in the jungle, I've had it around rivers and streams. And no, you don't want to dump the bag in, but it definitely beads up. So if you get some of that spray or it's raining, this bag has kept my gear nice and dry. There's also another pocket here in the top that I really love. Got a set of headphones here. And then of course my journal. And then I also keep my field notes notebook in there as well. But this thing is like cavernous. I mean, it is like huge in there. I mean, I think I can even hear myself echo when I talk in it, but we'll keep it down because it's early in the morning and everybody's still asleep. Now, something else, the secret pocket. I'm sharing that with you. My secret section here is a pocket right here. So underneath the flap. So if this is connected and then you've got to get into this and then unzip this, this is where I keep things like my passports, maybe a little extra money. I mostly keep all of that stuff on my person, but from time to time I may have to put it in here. So I do like this pocket for that. It's a great little secret area that I can throw things in, and like I said, just have that zipped up and then here and strapped down. We've got other things here like these little straps where you can use a carabiner and hang things off of, and of course this zipper as well, and I don't think, no, there's nothing in there, but as you can see, really expandable. And then another sleeve here. This whole thing expands to about 40 liters, which includes everything in here, in this roll up area, this roll top area, and then also the camera gear itself. One last thing that I want to get into before we get into the bag itself, the camera gear, is that it does have a section here where you can put in a hydration bladder. So like a Camelback, you can put that in here and then run the hose up through the bag, and you've got some hydration that's a little bit more as far as volume is concerned than your water bottles. Now at its largest, this bag was 26 inches in length. And I have to say, some of the other things that you're not seeing here is that it comes with a frame that is removable. So I've taken it out for this video, but you can keep that frame in there and that'll keep that pressure, take it off of your shoulders and then put it more on your hips if you're hiking around. So I do recommend utilizing that if you're hiking around. Also too, I have to say every camera bag should come with a removable strap setup. So I love the fact that it has a waist strap to also take some of that pressure off, but I also love the fact that it is removable. That is a must with a camera backpack. And another thing too, also, and we're gonna get into the camera gear, is the fact that these straps are adjustable. So if you need to pull that bag closer and then up on your shoulders a little bit more, or to relieve some of that pressure, that's where, see, they're adjustable down here, as a lot of straps are, of course, but at the top, that is where I really love. That's just a bonus. And again, I also think that that is a must for a camera backpack. Now getting into the origami section here, that is the camera section. We'll go ahead and just pull these things out. And first I'll start with what is most accessible here. I have a Be Unique, Be Myself roll up here that I have all of my cables. We'll go ahead and get that in. And as you can see, it's pretty low profile. I have a larger one that I usually keep around that I put monitors and things like that in. But we'll go ahead and start from the bottom. And what I have is my MacBook Pro charger and the cable. I also have the FW50 battery charger, and with these Sony Alpha cameras, these APS-C cameras with the FW50s, they use some batteries. I've got the remote. I do a lot of filming by myself, and so it's really nice to have a remote for obvious reasons. Going through, I have cables here that attach to, well, let's see, my Samsung T5, which I edit on. I keep my footage on and I edit on when I'm on the go and even when I'm just around in my studio. I also have some Allen wrenches here, some tools. And also, speaking of which, if you're not traveling on a plane or have to worry about a blade, I highly recommend a multi-tool, something with some pliers and also a blade. And in this situation, I'm not gonna be on a plane, so I will be taking this with me, but I do highly recommend multi-tools. They're fantastic, and you just never know when you need to cut something, tighten something, fix something, and just having everything all in one. And then I just have my dongle over here where I just put my SD card in and obviously my other cables as I need to connect it to the MacBook. Now, I always take the strap with me, and I did a video on this, especially with the A6400 and the Sigma 16mm. Both of those are non-stabilized, no IBIS and no OSS. And I did a video on how you're stabilizing your shots with your strap, so I'm always taking the strap with me, and I've got this one from Peak Design. And of course, one of the essentials here is the SD card case, and I have this one from B-Way. It keeps the moisture out, the dust and dirt out, and I really do love it. I do have several SD cards that I flip between when I'm on my shoots, because I don't clear out my cards. I just keep everything on the card and then back things up on the T5 as I'm traveling around. External battery to plug in the phone if I need that, or to plug in any other batteries, or to charge things up, or to run things. Always have to have an external battery. Now, I do believe in having a second camera when you can. I use the GoPro Hero Black 7, and so I take that with me, and I recommend that for you to get some behind the scenes shots or just to have a second camera. Now, I'm not saying go out and spend money and get a second camera if you don't have that in your budget. You can certainly use your smartphone, but I do take this action camera because I get a few action shots. I'm around water a lot of times, and it's just a great little secondary camera. It's also great too because it's very portable and lightweight, and I use it as a vlogging setup as well, just for more run and gun. And of course, the filmmaker's duct tape here, the gaff tape. You can't go anywhere without gaff tape. It's like the duct tape for everything when it comes to your filmmaking needs. Now, I can't say enough good things about these lights from LumeCube 2.0. They've been out for about a minute, and I'm reviewing these and putting them through their paces. And to have a portable light that is also rechargeable, USB-C that is, I'm doing a full review on those, so I won't go into too much detail, but just to let you know, I love them. Now, one thing I do recommend, especially when you're traveling around with batteries, is to try to put your batteries in a case like this. And so I have my FW50 batteries for my 6400 and 6500. And it just helps prevent punctures and keeps all the batteries in one place, that they're not all thrown in my bag. And I know that they're charged and ready to go. I'll link this up. It's fairly inexpensive, but it's actually one of the best investments I've made. And of course, can't forget this Manfrotto tripod. It is very low profile and adjustable, this ball head here. And I love this from a vlogging standpoint and setting it up. I use it more often than I will use my Joby GorillaPod. And then of course I use ND filters and have a case for that. A lot of times I'm keeping the ND filters on my lenses, but you're supposed to put them in a case, and so I do take the case in case I need a polarizer or ND filter, and I know where they are. Now, talking about the Sony 18-105, if I haven't already, and if you follow me on this channel, I've talked a lot about this lens. I've done several videos on that, and you can check those out, but I never leave home without the Sony 18-105. It is a very versatile lens. It was the first lens that I purchased outside of the kit lens that I got with my 6500, and I just cannot say enough good things about it. You should check out those videos because I say a lot of good things about it. And then of course I have my A6400 with the Sigma 16mm, another lens that I never leave home without. I've also done several videos with this lens. You should check those out as well. And I have to say that having a 16mm prime wide, it is super fast, super sharp. Sigma is doing something right with these E-mount lenses, and Sony. And again, this is a lens that I never leave home without. Both of these, from a minimalist standpoint or just having everything, these are the two lenses that I will always have with me. And those are really the lenses that I just need for everything. Now, this origami setup here, so I have it set up for the way that I need it, but it does come with several other like Velcro additions here so that you can customize it as you need to. I mean, there's quite a bit there, and I've customized it how I need to, but sometimes I'll carry two full camera bodies and I'll adjust it like this. It doesn't look huge, and I know that it's not incredibly big, but for me, and even like I said, whether you're minimalist or whether you need a few other things, you can put a lot of the stuff into that roll top section. I've shoved gimbals in there. I've put gimbals on the side here in these like water bottle holder sections. There's zippers that I forgot to mention up here that sometimes I'll put like spent batteries, and then a mesh section here. But didn't even show you that you can just throw a tripod on the side here. And like I said, ooh, don't want to spill my gear here. It's getting dangerous. And then grabbing the strap here. And then that's secure. And like I said, I've put obviously the tripods, I've put gimbals here on the side and some other gear, as well as something else that I forgot to mention is that, again, if you have your waist strap or you just need some extra storage, these things just pop right out, and you can unzip that and get these other like little pockets out as well for like water bottles. I put my lenses in here, and again, everything is so adjustable with this bag. If there's one thing that I would say might be a drawback, and the only thing really, is that if you tool around an urban area or a city and you don't want like a hiking bag setup, then maybe it's not the bag for you. But I really feel like for even the minimalist or those of you that need a lot of extra gear, this is a great bag to actually take on your travels. And so at its largest, at 26 inches in length, when you have your camera gear and your clothing in it, or you want to cinch it down, and again, at its smallest, at 20 inches in length, I just think that this bag is going to either expand the way you need it to and serve you however you need that, and then cinching it down and serve you wherever it is that you are. Now, of course, you know I love getting in that comment section with you. So hit me up with those questions and comments. I love chatting it up. You go out there and do those things that matter. You keep rocking those faces. I'm going to be here or out there creating content. And until then, I'm going to keep uploading, and you go do the things, and I'll catch you right back here.